Hello. It's hard to believe that it's June already, and yet it is, and we're carrying on with our themes for 2016 on the particular principles and the vision that we have for Centers for Spiritual Living. June 5th, we begin with, we see a world in which personal responsibility joins with social conscience in the political, corporate, academic, and social sectors. This here was presented to us by Dr. David Alt from Centers for Spiritual Living in Atlanta, and he says that we're part of a cosmic world, a perfect patterning, where one power alone acts. We begin our inner inquiry, he tells us, by asking the all-important question, who am I? But before that, we'll visit what Ernest Holmes wrote about the world. And it comes from the back of the Science of Mind textbook, and Holmes defined the universe as the cosmic world, a perfect patterning where one power alone acts. The one power, called by many names, originating intelligence, God, source, is self-evident in its creation, and this self-evident power is perfect order, perfect design. If the universe were not perfect, it could not exist for a single moment. So our questioning could first start with, where am I? From a spiritual cosmological standpoint, and where I am is in a perfect universe which by its very nature can only be inhabited by perfection. Who am I? Given the above, I must then be a perfect being, and why am I? To express that perfection in my unique fashion. These three elements are the main creed of personal responsibility. They are the keystones to engaged spirituality. What is done to others is done to me, and the connecting point is, what do I do? What part do I play, and how can I serve? So now we move forward to week number 2, which is June 12th, where our topic is, we believe that we are surrounded by this creative mind which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. That's by Ernest Holmes. But this week's program is written by Reverend Frankie Timmers from Morristown, New Jersey. She says, as within, so without. As I give, so shall I receive. What goes around comes around, etc., etc. How else can we say it? What other expressions are there that describes the concept of cause equals effect, or cause and effect are one? Surely we have many celebratory examples where we demonstrate embodying this principle. Today, we go deeper and explore the unconscious habits that limit us, the ones that create discord. It's often easy to see the principle of cause and effect in the world outside of us or happening to other people, but it seems more difficult to apply this to ourselves when we are the ones that are challenged. This is because it doesn't just happen at a conscious level, but it also happens at an unconscious level. It reminds me of what Rumi said, it's hard to polish a mirror when your every rub is an irritant, and it becomes really, really hard for us to live within the pattern of our own spirituality when we run into the issues of life around us that affect us personally. Dr. Holmes wrote, the relationship between the individual and the universal mind is one of reflection. That is, what we image for ourselves, it images for us. Then it follows that the very law which creates bondage could as easily create freedom. The divine intends freedom for us, but the very fact that we have creative thought and that we are real individuals presupposes the use of creativeness in more than one way. We can sit in the shade or move into the sunshine. Sitting in the shadow, we may not really believe that there is any sunshine, but the sun would be there all the time, and all the time we are in bondage, the real freedom still exists. It's there, but we must awaken to it. The law of mind as quickly creates one form as another for us, and we must allow the patterns of our thought to become molded from the highest sense of reality that we can possess. We now move on to week 3, which is June 19th, and this also is from our beautiful friend Dr. David Alt from Atlanta. We see a world in which people have enough food, homes, and a sense of belonging. There's a law of unfoldment in man which says that they can advance only by going from where they are to the place where they would like to be. This is not because the law is limited, it's because it's a law. If day by day we have a greater understanding and a clearer concept, if daily we're realizing more of the truth and applying it in our actions, then we're on the right path, and eventually we'll be made free. It is a wonderful experiment and a great adventure to make conscious use of the law, to feel that we can plant an idea in mind and see it gradually take form. That, of course, was from our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes. Neville Goddard wrote, "Imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you desire and then you believe it to be true. Every dream could be realized by those self-disciplined enough to believe it." Two men looked from the prison bars and one saw the mud and the other saw the stars. Now we'll move on to June 26th, which comes from Reverend Patricia Zogar from Victoria, British Columbia. Our principle at this time is we believe the ultimate goal to be the complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. This really is a world that works for everyone, and Dr. Holmes writes, while bondage is an experience, there is a reality to which bondage is not real. We shall be free of discord when we expose the unreality of that bondage. Terry Cole Whitaker in the July 2015 edition of Science of Mind magazine said, clinging to material things as though these were a protection, security, and source of pleasure to keep a person fixed in a mental and emotional state of fear of loss, lack, and death. Fear, of course, is the basis of all discord. And Dr. Ernest again says, before our prayer is framed in words, the possibility of its answer already exists. In order to even request a treatment, we must be able to conceive a picture of our desired results in our mind. Thus, we have already set the universe into motion, and freedom is always available. How much and how quickly can we accept this? We believe the ultimate goal of life is to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all of us. Indeed, that's the only way that we're going to move into a world that works for everyone. Thank you.